Okay, I want to talk to you about backup cycles, retention policy, and setting up your storage policy when you first get in your job. So when you have a job, backup, backup administrator, whatever, right? It's good to do this in practice before you do it, right? It basically is a couple different things. First, get your storage policies, know what they are and what they do. Yeah. So, what does that mean exactly, right? I know I talked about it before, but let me just hash it over it again a little bit. This is I'm going to include this actually. This is a downloadable thing you can get, right, and it just talks about it's actually storage policy retention, spreadsheet or worksheet. In our case, we had 30 days, 2 cycles, right? In ours, you can put also like days between a full, and that'll simulate incrementals. Um, for instance, something like five. It's usually 5 days. So you have this is what it looks like, right? So you have 30 days, 2 cycles, days between fulls. Like you'll do. That's not really how it should be. Actually, it should be six. If you're doing 1 week, one full a week, and the rest are incrementals, it's actually 6 days between fulls. Actually, it should be 7 days actually between fulls. Yeah, that's right. So what you'll end up with is this. Let's say this is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So your fulls on Friday, incremental Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, full again on Friday. Same thing. So this is what? It's 2 cycles, 30 days. So that covers 30 days worth of data. So you can omit this right here, right? So this is what it looks like, right? 30 days at 2 cycles. So I actually should change my maximum minimum days to 30 and 30. So that's good. Yeah. So what do we have? We have 2 cycles at 30 days, days between fulls. So that's one full, that's 2 fulls, 3 fulls, 4 fulls, 5 fulls. So you have to meet both criteria, right? You have to meet 30 days, you have to meet the 2 cycles. So what this means is this. You've met your 30 days, and what happens is prunable means, prunable and non-prunable means you can delete it basically, right? So prunable means okay, I've met the 30 days of backups. I've met the 2 cycles, so I have all these cycles. The fulls are the cycles, right? And so as long as I have two, these are the two here. These two right here, not printable, means you can't delete them. You can't overwrite them, right? Because that's my criteria. Whereas these other fulls, you can delete those, or they can write over them. No worries. Let me show you another example. Actually, let's go 15 days at 2 cycles, and maximum days, minimum days 15, and maximum is our minimum 15, right? So that's going to display 15 days. So 15 days, 2 cycles. So have we met the 15 days? Yes. Have we met the 2 cycles, the 2 fulls? 1, 2, yes. We got 3 here, right? So this means this. I got 1 full, I got 2 fulls, and I got 3 fulls. These two here, these aren't printable. You can't overwrite them, right? Because you have to have two fulls, which is 2 cycles, and 15 days. And this full here, you can overwrite it, no worries, because we have our 2 cycles right here, which is this right here. This is common in the industry, by the way. They always refer to it like the retention policy is days and cycles. So this goes for net backup, Commvault, Veeam, data domain, Avamar, Networker. The only thing you have to do is you have to input the days in between fulls, meaning because mostly right in the field you're going to do once a week backups or once a week fulls. You're not going to do every other day fulls. It's not usually how it works. Usually it is like every Friday or every Saturday, right? And the reason you do that every Friday or Saturday is because people are working during the week, and you don't want to disrupt their performance, their IO, right? Basically, because backups do use a lot of IO, and so you want to have minimal people there, minimal people on the server that you're backing up when you're doing it. That's that, right? So you got retention 15 days, 2 cycles. Just for our lab scenario, we'll put 7 days because we go from like um, Friday to Friday, right? You want to have 7 days in between that, right? So that represents Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, another full on Friday, right? And the 2 cycles represents the 2 fulls. So meaning, hey, there's 2 fulls here. Look at that. You can't you can't prune those. You can't overwrite them. So you've met 2 things. You've met the 15 days. That's good. And then you've met the 2 cycles. That's good. Everything else you can prune. I know in other videos I said like what'll happen is well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, exactly right. So you have two fulls, and you can delete this one. It always has to have at least 2 fulls at all times, right? That's what the cycles are. That's what it means. So included in this video, right? I'm also going to include this like worksheet or whatever, Excel sheet or open office calc sheet, the lab as well. So you don't have to like make up names or whatever. You can just like use what I have, right? And the IPs if you so desire. Yeah, these gateways here, Windows Server Internet. So those are that's how I get internet, right? By the way. So what I do is I have an internet on the server. So I have like 2 NICs. Actually, I have 3 NICs. The first NIC is like the internet, right? And the second network interface, or NIC card, basically, is this 172.1630.240. The third network interface card is like a 192.168, 100. Whatever. And so that's the third IP on this that is not listed actually. And what happens is I use one of my internal servers to go on the internet, right? So this is not on the domain. This server here is not. But the other server, this one is on the domain, meaning it's a domain controller, right? And so what happens is that also has a 192.168.100.20, I think actually is the IP. And so all of these other servers here get their internet from this one right here. And he or she gets his internet from my internet gateway server. Okay, moving on to policies. Yeah, like I said, it's a good idea to write your policies down. This is, you're going to see this in the field 100%. Well, I should say replicate, not replicate the movie, but like replication. Not, yeah. Anyway, so the storage policy name. So you can do this in your lab environment, right? Write down the storage policy name, whatever you name it. And you define the storage, the retention, 30 days, 2 cycles, right? When I went over that already. And when you get to your job or whatever, right? Know this jargon. They're going to talk about replication, or they're not duplication, but they call it replication or duplication. Basically it means like, hey, we're going to back up this data, and these are the days and the cycles, right? But at the same time, we're going to replicate that data to here. That looks more like this, actually. So for instance, you have the storage policy, so it'll back up your production VM for 30 days, 2 cycles. And then what it does is replicates that data to like a cold, like a hot site. No, that's 1-to-1. Yeah, it could be a hot site, sure. So you have different sites. So you have like a a cold site, which is not always on, and then you have a warm site, which is some services are up, not everything, and then you have a hot site. Hot site is what you might call like Amazon. Amazon is definitely considered a hot site. Their cloud environment, like it replicates one to one. If it's one server here, it's one server somewhere else. And that's, of course, the backup data. I'm sorry, of course, that's real time data, meaning Amazon's real time. That's not backup, right? Where we're dealing with backup data. We're not dealing with real time data. So, for instance, your storage policy, you've backed up your production VM 30 days, 2 cycles, meaning 2 fulls, more than 2 fulls, but at least 2 fulls in there. And then it replicates. So immediately it backs it up. What happens is immediately it replicates it to, let's say, another storage device and keeps it there for 30 days. And then after it's from the replication, or it could be from that that storage policy there, or it could be from your initial device, your storage policy, where it backs up the tape. So now you have your let me actually change. I need to put this to cloud, actually. Yeah, for instance, right, you're putting it to tape now. So you've backed it up via VM. So it puts it on tape for, concurrently, right? So it's backing it up for 30 days, and then it puts it on tape or the cloud for 30 days or 15 days, as it were, right? So this is all going real time, meaning it's almost like you're storing it 3 places, right? So you're storing it one time. Let's say this is let's say, for instance, on your production data, you're storing it in a quantum DXI, like a storage device. Here's what a DXI looks like. It's bigger than this. Some of them, 20 terabyte, 30 terabyte, whatever it is. That's a DXI. It's nothing more than, looks like a Dell server, really. It's just a storage device, though. And then so then you replicate it to, say, like a Hive server. And this is what like a Hive server looks like, right? So these giant things here. It's like a, just huge amount of data in one rack. So Hive could be your replication. You replicate it somewhere else, right? Replicating data to another storage device, and you're retaining that for 30 days. And now backup, right? Tape backup, if you will, actually. So that's really what it is, tape backup. The physical tape you're putting into this gigantic machine. Some are big, some are small, right? Quantum scalar, that's a tape library right there. That's huge, by the way. All these are tape libraries, every single one, and it holds, I don't know, a lot of tapes. So each tape probably 6 terabyte roughly, I think, something like that. Each tape is 6 terabyte, and it can hold like a couple hundred tapes in this one. I know some of them, like the IBM, the storage techs, those hold like 5,000 tapes, right? So imagine 6 terabyte times 5,000 tapes. 6,000 times. 6 terabyte times 5,000. That's 30,000 petabytes, right? Terabytes, right? 30,000 terabytes. So that's 30 petabytes roughly. And the other one is so cloud, Amazon AWS cloud. And, there's no real pictures of the cloud, right? Amazon Web Services cloud, but probably the disadvantage to cloud backups, especially if you're not the one who is the one providing it, when you bring the data back. I mean, you can send it there all day, and they charge you like a lower fee usually to send it there. No worries. Where they make their money is when you have to restore it, back to wherever. So, the other thing is not really here, but whenever, your storage policies that also include don't back up pictures, don't back up music, stuff like that, right? Those files get huge. omit those, right? Or in the if it's like Windows or if it's Linux team or whatever, have them set a group policy to not allow those files on their computers, on their servers. Okay, so thank you for viewing this tutorial on just general information about storage policy, how backups, the storage retention, the days, the cycles, um, and how backups in general work in a production environment. For instance, moving it from spinning disk to tape. So again, thank you for viewing this video.